Richard Leyland of Bango, looking at that market. So please welcome him onto the stage.
Thank you very much, Tim. There's a challenge. Let's talk about a mobile payment technology that does exist, that does actually have some revenue. So this is going to be a real whistle-stop tour through a technology, carrier billing, and Bango's part in that. So first of all, we should do a very quick definition here. I'll sometimes talk about carriers, I'll sometimes talk about operators, it's the same thing, and I'll sometimes talk about carrier billing and sometimes operator billing. Again, it's the same thing. So I just want to sort of simplify the terminology there. So carrier billing, in its simplest terms, is paying for normally digital goods, games, apps, music, by charging the cost to your phone bill. And the most important element of that is the frictionless nature of the transaction. Normally one click, extremely easy. So that's the good news. The bad news is that this is about the most unsexy technology that we will be talking about in this whole two-day program. Carrier billing does have a bit of an issue with an absence of unsexiness, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One is what I call the coffee shop effect, and that is, we've seen it a lot in the last couple of days actually, which is any technology that enables a consumer, normally a hipster in Brooklyn, to buy a cup of coffee in a new and interesting way, will hoover up the media coverage. And on top of that, any technology that involves the carriers, particularly in Silicon Valley, tends to be seen as a little bit dumber, as associated with dumb pipes. And this is a bit of an issue for carrier billing, but the better news is that carrier billing is a technology with very significant traction today. So here's the up and to the right. Every presentation you'll always see an up and to the right. Here's Bango's up and to the right. This isn't our data, this is from Deutsche Bank, Juniper, and Gartner. And what we're seeing here in very simple terms is that the overall market in digital content sales, the majority of that going through app stores, is growing, will continue to grow. This forecasts to the end of 2017. But most importantly for this particular presentation, the proportion of that market that is carrier billed will also grow to something like $13 billion US, and about 22% of the overall market. So we're talking about a market that's rising, and carrier billing is increasing its proportion within that. Okay, why? What are the reasons that carriers would be interested in this, and what are the reasons that app stores would? Well, this is sort of the ABC of today's carriers world at the moment, which is the over-the-top services has, of course, eaten very, very deeply into existing operator revenue streams. Messaging apps, VoIP apps, and so on have absolutely destroyed value in terms of the carrier bill. And of course, carrier billing then allows them to step back into that market and to actually monetize from transactions which would otherwise be supported on their networks, but would in fact earn them zero revenue. So the carriers want it. And it's actually a little bit more serious than that. The carriers don't just want it, the carriers need it. This is a table that I adapted from Chetan Sharma, who's a very influential analyst in the space, and I pass my apologies to him for adapting it. But here we see that the three main revenue streams for global carriers show a pattern. As subscriber penetration rises, the revenue streams hit a peak, and then they fall. They've already peaked and fallen in terms of voice, in terms of messaging, and most commentators seem to think that revenue from data access is somewhere near its peak on a global basis. And that's against the face of an increasing demand for data, right? The demand for data goes up, but the carrier's ability to monetize from it seems to not actually follow. So there's a big challenge for global operators, which is how do they unlock a fourth wave, or maybe multiple fourth waves of revenues, and do it against the background of all of these OTT services that are trying to eat their lunch. So this is the context in which carrier billing has emerged. A quick word on the app stores. Why do the app stores want it? Well, first of all, let's establish that they do indeed want it. If you follow the news, the tech news, really, from our perspective, it's a story of the different app stores racing to embrace carrier billing, led by Google, which has the monster market share at the moment. Really all of the major app stores, with one big exception, which I'll talk about, are racing to embrace this technology. And the reason is very, very simple. It's conversion rate. So carrier billing allows this frictionless, normally one-click payment experience that results in increased conversion rates, and then I'll put it as bluntly as this: the app stores will sell more stuff. So let's just get a practical guide to what this might look like. We power carrier billing for various app stores, but I chose Mozilla's Firefox Marketplace, not least because Mozilla are here today, but also they were the first app store to embrace carrier billing from the very launch of their store. And it's as easy as this. So this piece of content is called IQ Fit Fun. The customer simply selects the app that they want to buy. They're given a confirmation page, and in this case it's 89€. It's very clear that that's going on their phone bill. They click to buy and install the app. There's something slightly misleading in that example though. That's 89€, so a bit less than $1. Actually, the average value of carrier bill transactions is normally in excess of $4. So you can put aside the thoughts of tiny microtransactions. It may well be larger than you think, the average transaction value. Okay, and what does that then mean in terms of revenues? So this is a partner of ours, a major app store, and the data is drawn from the United Kingdom. It's not our data, so we had to take the numbers out, but each bar represents a week of sales. And if you look at blue and purple, that is respectively credit card and PayPal sales, which was the only way you could buy content in this particular app store. And what you see is a nice, although not particularly exciting, upward trend until introducing carrier billing, which is the green section. And what we see is a very significant, perhaps 2 to 3 times uplift, a slight cannibalization of the number of transactions going through on credit card or PayPal, but a big net overall increase. And that's why I stand up my claim of carrier billing enable the app stores to sell more stuff. It looks like that. Okay, who are Vango? So Vango, we're a UK-based company. We're from Cambridge, the home of ARM. I did note with a smile yesterday when Andres and Horowitz were talking about the centre of gravity moving to Silicon Valley. Cambridge in the UK also holds a certain weight. That's where we're from. We are the company that sits behind the app stores, enabling them to embrace carrier billing. We're the third party that sits between an operator and an app store, enabling charge-to-bill payments. And we do that with all of the app stores, with a great big elephant in the room exception, which is Apple. Okay, short build. Great. So to put that in a slightly broader context, this is where Vango sits. We sit between more than 130 of the world's mobile network operators and really all of the global app stores, with the exception of our friends in Cupertino. No way of avoiding that. They are the holdout app store that has not yet embraced direct carrier billing. The day they do, we hope to be there. But right now, the story is all of the others have embraced this tech. A word about Samsung. About 3 weeks ago, we made our latest news announcement, which is that we will be powering carry billing for them on a global basis. And the reason I bring that up is because this is the world's largest smartphone vendor. And when they say that they want to launch carry billing across all of their important markets, it's a really major marker of progress for this technology. And it says that they want to put carry billing at the heart of their consumer experience. And it touches on what was spoken about yesterday in the session on the collaborative economy. And somebody pointed out that the value of Uber is in fact not in getting you from A to B, but in the sort of joyous effect of that frictionless payment experience, of not having to think about payment. And it's that Samsung want to unlock in their emerging store, and that's why they're embracing carry billing. And then a word on the revenue model. I don't want to go into this in any great detail, but Apple a few years ago when they first launched their store, they set this interesting precedent, which is that the developer gets 70%, and that's great. But what it means, of course, is that the remaining 30% is what's there to commercially negotiate. And in most carry billing deployments, that nets down to the operator getting 10 to 15% of the transaction, something like that. So this is low margin business for an operator. This is not what they've been used to dealing with. And it's that then increases the likelihood of them outsourcing this work to a specialist payment provider, to a banker, because of course we unlock the economies of scale by working across the industry. We handle the very tailored and specific engineering teams that you need to put in place. So this is an important element of the value of carry billing. And then just to jump into a summary then, so carry billing is on the rise, as I've shown. The margin profile, the fact that this is a low margin business, demands a new approach, and that's why you've seen the emergence of independent third-party platforms, such as Bango. And then a final word on the role of the platform. The big app stores who I've shown you today, they don't develop third-party dependencies lightly. This is not something they normally look to do. And so, in order for them to be comfortable with doing that, to be handing off billing to Bango, there needs to be some very significant benefit. And that benefit is in being this independent, one-to-many connection. So the fact of an app store being able to connect into a Bango, which then connects them out to the world's largest operators. And then on the other side, an operator connecting into the platform and connecting out to the world's largest app stores. That single point is really the key to the value of the platform and to Bango's platform. So that was a whistle-stop tour of carry billing and where it's at and where Bango are at. If anyone has any questions, there were some gross generalizations made in that presentation. If you want to take any of them to task, then Twitter, Leyland Richard. I look forward to taking on any issues there.